Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about building a mindset of strength, resilience, and purpose, we're discussing something far more profound than simple optimism or fleeting confidence. We're talking about the architecture of your inner world, the foundation upon which every action, decision, and relationship in your life is built. Today, I'll share 4 critical principles for forcing yourself to build the strongest mindset possible. To build a strong mindset, the first and most critical step is to confront the chaos within yourself. Chaos is not just the external disorder of the world, the unpredictable nature of life, the curveballs it throws at us, the things that fall apart without warning. While those external forces are significant, the true battleground lies within. The internal chaos, your fears, insecurities, and unexamined thoughts, is far more challenging to face because it is deeply personal and often invisible to others. Confronting this chaos requires an unflinching honesty with yourself, and that is no small feat. People are masterful at self-deception. We tell ourselves comforting lies to avoid discomfort. We rationalize our procrastination, justify our weaknesses, and pretend that the things that bother us aren't really that significant. But these internal blind spots grow over time. They don't disappear simply because you ignore them. Instead, they fester and eventually spill into your life, creating unnecessary suffering. Imagine you have a room in your house that you never clean. At first, it's just a bit of clutter, maybe a few items out of place. But over time, the mess grows. Dust accumulates, the air becomes stale, and the room becomes uninhabitable. You shut the door and pretend it's not there, but the problem doesn't go away, it worsens. This is exactly how unaddressed inner chaos operates. The longer you avoid it, the more power it gains over you and the harder it becomes to deal with. So how do you begin? Start by acknowledging the existence of this inner chaos. Admit that there are areas of your life that you've neglected or ignored because they feel too overwhelming to confront. Maybe it's a fear of failure that stops you from taking risks. Maybe it's unresolved guilt from past mistakes. Maybe it's an anger you haven't fully understood or a sadness you've tried to bury. Whatever it is, name it, give it form. You can't fight an enemy you refuse to recognize. This process isn't about self-loathing or dwelling on negativity. It's about self-awareness. There's an enormous difference between acknowledging your flaws and being consumed by them. Awareness is the first step toward change, and it requires courage. It takes bravery to admit that you're not as strong, disciplined, or prepared as you could be. But this is a necessary discomfort. By facing the truth about where you stand, you give yourself the opportunity to grow. One of the best tools for this confrontation is reflection. This can take many forms: journaling, meditation, or simply sitting in quiet thought. Ask yourself difficult questions. What am I afraid of? What excuses do I keep making? What am I avoiding and why? Reflection requires time and honesty, but it's a habit that pays dividends. When you take the time to explore your inner world, you begin to see patterns. You start to understand what drives your behaviors, what triggers your emotions, and what keeps you stuck. The next step is to act on what you discover. Awareness without action is like lighting a candle in a dark room and then leaving without cleaning the mess you now see. Once you've identified the sources of your chaos, start addressing them, one step at a time. If you struggle with fear, begin by doing something that scares you but is within your capacity to handle. If you've neglected your health, commit to taking small but consistent steps to improve it. The key is to avoid being paralyzed by the enormity of the task. No one transforms overnight. Progress is built incrementally, one decision at a time. Another critical aspect of confronting your inner chaos is letting go of perfectionism. People often avoid facing their issues because they feel overwhelmed by the idea of fixing everything at once. But the goal isn't perfection, it's improvement. A strong mindset isn't flawless, it's adaptable. It doesn't crumble under pressure because it has been tested, challenged, and refined through consistent effort. You must also learn to forgive yourself. As you confront your chaos, you will inevitably uncover mistakes, regrets, and moments of weakness. These are part of being human. Holding on to shame or guilt will only weigh you down. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing bad choices, it means acknowledging them, learning from them, and moving forward. The past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Finally, remember that this process is ongoing. Confronting your inner chaos isn't a one-time event, it's a lifelong practice. Just as you clean your home regularly to prevent clutter from building up again, you must continuously check in with yourself. Life will always throw new challenges your way, and those challenges will create new forms of chaos. The strength of your mindset depends on your willingness to keep confronting, learning, and growing. By facing the chaos within, you take the first and most. To force yourself to build the strongest mindset, you must understand a crucial truth: discipline is not a restriction but a source of freedom. At first glance, this may seem counterintuitive. After all, discipline imposes rules, boundaries, and effort, while freedom suggests doing as you please. But true freedom, the kind that allows you to live a life of purpose, clarity, and strength, can only emerge from discipline. Without it, you become a victim of your impulses, a slave to short-term pleasures, and ultimately trapped by the chaos of unfulfilled potential. Discipline begins with acknowledging the importance of structure in your life. The human mind thrives on patterns and order, yet many of us resist this truth. We believe that spontaneity and freedom are inherently better, that schedules are restrictive, and that rules stifle creativity. However, this resistance often leads to a life of inconsistency and frustration. Without a disciplined approach to your goals, your energy scatters and your progress stalls. Forcing yourself to cultivate discipline requires small, deliberate actions repeated consistently over time. This begins with setting clear, achievable goals. If you don't know what you're aiming for, you're likely to waste your time on activities that don't serve you. Discipline isn't about waking up one day and completely transforming your life. It's about making intentional choices day by day, moment by moment. Choose a single area where you know discipline is lacking. It might be your physical health, your career, or your relationships. Commit to small actions that reflect discipline in that area. Take something as simple as waking up at the same time every day. It seems trivial, but this act of self-regulation sends a powerful message to your subconscious: you are in control. You are not swayed by fleeting desires or the comfort of an extra hour of sleep. Instead, you are the kind of person who chooses action over passivity. These small moments accumulate, building trust in yourself. But discipline isn't just about following through when you feel motivated. In fact, discipline is most valuable in the absence of motivation. Everyone experiences days when enthusiasm wanes, when the task at hand feels daunting or pointless. It is precisely in these moments that discipline proves its worth. When you force yourself to act despite discomfort, fatigue, or disinterest, you strengthen the muscle of self-control. You prove to yourself that your actions are not dictated by your emotions. This isn't easy. In fact, it's profoundly uncomfortable at first. Your mind will resist, it will generate excuses and rationalizations. I'll start tomorrow, I deserve a break, this isn't that important. These voices are seductive, but they are also deceptive. They represent the part of you that craves immediate gratification and fears discomfort. To build the strongest mindset, you must learn to override these voices. One powerful tool in this process is visualization. Picture the person you want to become. What does a disciplined version of you look like? How do they act in the face of challenge or temptation? By connecting your daily actions to this vision, you create a sense of purpose behind your discipline. You're not just doing it for the sake of doing it, you're doing it to align with the person you aspire to be. Another critical aspect of discipline is learning to set boundaries. A disciplined life doesn't mean saying yes to every opportunity or obligation. It means prioritizing what truly matters and eliminating distractions. If you allow yourself to be pulled in every direction, your energy will be diluted and your efforts will yield little. Discipline involves the courage to say no to what doesn't serve your goals, even when it's tempting or socially expected. Over time, discipline transforms from an external imposition to an internal compass. What once required effort and willpower becomes second nature. The disciplined mind no longer struggles with whether to act, it simply acts. This shift is liberating. You no longer waste energy on indecision or self-negotiation. Instead, you channel your energy toward meaningful progress. Discipline also builds resilience. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will arise that threaten to derail you. Without discipline, these obstacles can feel insurmountable. But a disciplined mindset is prepared. It has been tested through consistent effort, and it knows how to endure discomfort and persist in the face of adversity. Discipline creates a reservoir of strength that you can draw upon when life becomes difficult. Ultimately, discipline is not about punishment or deprivation, it's about empowerment. It's about taking control of your life rather than being at the mercy of circumstances or fleeting desires. Discipline frees you to pursue your goals with clarity and determination. It frees you from the chaos of procrastination, the regret of missed opportunities, and the dissatisfaction of unfulfilled potential. To force yourself to build the strongest mindset, you must embrace discipline as a foundational principle. Start small, remain consistent, and remember that every act of discipline is an investment in your future self. Over time, you'll realize that the disciplined life is not only the freest life, but also the most fulfilling. To build the strongest mindset, you must embrace voluntary struggle. This principle may seem counterintuitive in a world that prizes comfort and convenience, but it is in struggle that the seeds of growth are planted. Strength, both mental and physical, is not developed through ease but through adversity. The strongest minds are forged in the fire of challenge and tempered by the discipline to seek out difficulty rather than avoid it. The critical distinction here is that the struggle must be voluntary. It is not enough to endure hardship when it comes your way by chance. You must actively choose it as part of your growth process. Voluntary struggle is about stepping into discomfort with purpose. It means setting challenges that stretch you beyond your current abilities and forcing yourself to confront your limitations. When you do this, you are sending a powerful message to yourself. You are not afraid of hardship, and you are capable of rising above it. Each time you take on a challenge and see it through, you reinforce this belief. You build confidence, resilience, and a sense of control over your circumstances. Many people avoid voluntary struggle because it feels counterproductive. Why choose hardship when you could opt for ease? Why push yourself when there's no immediate reward? The answer lies in the transformation that occurs through the process. Struggle exposes your weaknesses, and in doing so, it gives you an opportunity to address them. It forces you to confront parts of yourself that you might otherwise ignore. This confrontation is uncomfortable, but it is also essential for growth. Consider physical exercise as a metaphor. When you lift weights, you are, in a sense, damaging your muscles. The process of straining under the weight creates tiny tears in the muscle fibers. But this damage is not destructive, it is constructive. When your body repairs those fibers, it makes them stronger than before. The same principle applies to your mind. Voluntary struggle challenges your mental muscles, breaking down old patterns of thought, pushing you past self-imposed limits, and creating a stronger, more capable version of yourself. Voluntary struggle can take many forms. It might be a physical challenge like running a marathon or committing to a rigorous fitness routine. It could be an intellectual challenge like learning a new skill or pursuing a demanding course of study. It might even be an emotional challenge like having a difficult conversation, facing a fear, or taking responsibility for a mistake. The specifics matter less than the mindset with which you approach the struggle. The key is to choose challenges that push you outside your comfort zone, that force you to grow and adapt. The beauty of voluntary struggle is that it builds momentum. When you overcome one challenge, you become more willing to take on the next. Success breeds confidence, and confidence fuels action. Over time, you develop a mindset that not only tolerates difficulty but seeks it out as an opportunity for growth. Struggle becomes less of an obstacle and more of a tool, a means to an end, rather than an end in itself. However, embracing voluntary struggle does not mean recklessly pursuing hardship for its own sake. It is not about making your life unnecessarily difficult or taking on challenges that are beyond your current capacity. It is about being strategic, choosing struggles that align with your goals and values. There is a difference between constructive struggle, which leads to growth, and pointless suffering, which leads only to frustration. To build a strong mindset, you must learn to discern between the two. One of the most powerful outcomes of voluntary struggle is the sense of ownership it creates. When you choose your struggles, you reclaim control over your narrative. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way, but by seeking out and conquering struggles of your own choosing, you prove to yourself that you are not defined by circumstances, you are defined by your response to them. This shift in perspective is transformative. It changes you from a passive participant in life to an active creator of your destiny. Another profound benefit of voluntary struggle is the resilience it cultivates. Life is unpredictable, and true resilience is not built by avoiding hardship but by facing it head-on. When you expose yourself to voluntary struggles, you prepare yourself for the inevitable difficulties that will come your way. You develop the mental fortitude to navigate setbacks, adapt to change, and persevere in the face of adversity. Ultimately, voluntary struggle is not about seeking pain but about seeking progress. It is about recognizing that the path to strength is not a straight line but a series of challenges, each one designed to push you a little further, make you a little stronger, and prepare you for the next. By embracing this process, you take ownership of your growth, build unshakable confidence, and develop a mindset that thrives in the face of difficulty. To build the strongest mindset, you must stop avoiding struggle and start seeking it out. Choose challenges that matter to you, commit to them fully, and embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. Each step forward will make you stronger, more capable, and more prepared to face whatever life throws your way. Through voluntary struggle, you don't just endure, you evolve. To build the strongest mindset, you must anchor your life in responsibility. Responsibility, contrary to popular belief, is not a burden. It is the gateway to meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Without responsibility, life can feel hollow and aimless. And responsibility is what gives you direction. It calls you to rise above your limitations and make a contribution to the world around you. A mindset rooted in responsibility is one that can withstand the trials of life because it finds meaning even in struggle. Taking responsibility begins with understanding that your life is ultimately yours to navigate. It's tempting to blame others or external circumstances for the things that go wrong. We tell ourselves stories: if only my upbringing were different, if only the economy were better. If only someone else would step in to fix this. These narratives may feel comforting in the moment, but they strip you of your power. The strongest mindset emerges when you stop waiting for someone else to take charge and decide to take full ownership of your life. When you take responsibility, you acknowledge that while you may not control every aspect of your circumstances, you always control your response to them. This shift in perspective is liberating. It moves you from a position of helplessness to one of agency. You are no longer at the mercy of external forces. Instead, you are actively shaping your reality. This mindset doesn't mean you deny the existence of challenges or injustices. Rather, it means you focus on what you can do to address them, no matter how small the action might seem. Responsibility also connects you to others. A strong mindset is not built in isolation. It is built in the context of relationships, communities, and the larger world. When you take on responsibility, you contribute to something greater than yourself. You become a source of stability, support, and leadership for others. This is not only beneficial to those around you, but also deeply fulfilling for you. Humans are wired to find meaning in connection, and responsibility is the bridge that links us to those connections. To truly embrace responsibility, you must recognize that it is not just about doing what is required. It's about going beyond the bare minimum and seeking opportunities to make a difference. For example, it's one thing to fulfill your basic obligations at work or at home. It's another to take ownership of problems that aren't technically yours to solve simply because you see a need and know you can help. This willingness to step up and take initiative sets apart those who build strong mindsets from those who do not. Responsibility also requires you to be honest with yourself about your current limitations and the areas where you fall short. This honesty is not about self-criticism, it's about self-awareness. If you ignore your weaknesses, you cannot grow. If you refuse to acknowledge the consequences of your actions, you cannot change. Taking responsibility means owning not only your successes but also your failures. It means saying, "This is where I am right now, and this is what I need to do to improve." As you embrace responsibility, you will find that it often involves sacrifice. To take responsibility for your health, you may have to sacrifice comfort by exercising regularly or choosing nutritious foods over indulgent ones. To take responsibility for your family, you may have to sacrifice personal time to ensure their needs are met. To take responsibility for your career, you may have to sacrifice leisure to pursue new skills or opportunities. These sacrifices are not losses, they are investments. Each act of responsibility strengthens your character and deepens your sense of purpose. One of the most profound aspects of responsibility is its ability to bring meaning to even the most difficult experiences. When you take responsibility for something important, you give yourself a reason to persevere. Think about the parent who works tirelessly to provide for their children, or the activist who dedicates themselves to a cause despite overwhelming odds. These individuals are not immune to struggle, but their sense of responsibility gives them the strength to endure it. Responsibility also teaches you humility. When you take on responsibility, you inevitably encounter situations where you don't have all the answers. You'll make mistakes, you'll face criticism. These moments are not failures, but opportunities to learn and grow. A strong mindset understands that responsibility is not about being perfect, it's about being committed. It's about showing up, trying your best, and continually striving to improve. Ultimately, responsibility transforms you. It shifts your focus from what you can take to what you can give. It challenges you to rise above selfishness and complacency. It pushes you to become someone who contributes to the world in meaningful ways. And in doing so, it gives your life a profound sense of meaning and direction. To build the strongest mindset, you must embrace responsibility as a guiding principle. Take ownership of your choices, your actions, and their impact. Step into roles that demand effort and dedication. Seek out opportunities to make a difference, even when they are inconvenient. By doing so, you will not only build a resilient and capable mindset, but also create a life rich with purpose and fulfillment. Responsibility is not a burden, it is the privilege of becoming the best version of yourself. To build the strongest mindset, you must develop the ability to face the world with an unwavering sense of purpose, clarity, and courage. This requires a deep understanding that you are not just a passive participant in life, but an active agent in shaping your destiny. The strength of your mindset is built on a foundation of decision-making, on the capacity to make choices, take action, and stay committed to your goals, regardless of the challenges that arise. If you want to cultivate a mind that can withstand adversity and achieve greatness, you must first learn the art of decision-making. Making decisions is not always easy. It often involves confronting uncertainty, navigating risk, and confronting your own doubts and fears. Yet the strongest minds are those that embrace decision-making, even when the path is unclear. They understand that indecision is the enemy of progress. The more you delay making decisions, the more you allow fear, doubt, and confusion to control your actions. But when you make decisions, even difficult ones, you empower yourself, you take control of your narrative. The first step in developing this capacity is to understand that decision-making is not about making the perfect choice every time. Perfection is an illusion. No decision, no matter how well thought out, is free from risk. What matters is that you make a choice, commit to it, and move forward with confidence. A strong mindset knows that mistakes and setbacks are part of the process. They are not failures, but learning opportunities. The ability to make decisions is the ability to move forward, and forward motion is what creates growth and progress. One of the most important aspects of decision-making is the courage to act despite fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong choice, these are natural human emotions. But a strong mindset does not allow fear to dictate its actions. Instead, it uses fear as a signal that growth is occurring. When you face fear, you know you are stepping outside your comfort zone and expanding your boundaries. The more you act in the face of fear, the less power fear has over you. Over time, you develop a sense of confidence that comes not from the absence of fear, but from the knowledge that you can act even when fear is present. And to make better decisions, you must also cultivate clarity. Indecision often arises from a lack of clarity when you don't fully understand what you want or what you stand for. A strong mindset knows that clarity comes from understanding your values, goals, and purpose. When you are clear about what matters to you, decisions become easier because they are aligned with your deeper sense of direction. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, does this move me closer to my goals? Does this reflect who I am and who I want to become? The clearer you are about your vision, the easier it is to make choices that support it. A strong mindset also understands the importance of taking responsibility for the decisions you make. This is where true power lies. Every decision you make has consequences, both positive and negative. A weak mindset will shift blame, make excuses, or try to avoid the responsibility of its actions. But a strong mindset takes full ownership. It knows that every decision, whether successful or not, is a chance to learn, to grow, and to adjust its course. When you take responsibility for your decisions, you claim the power to change them. You become the author of your story, not a victim of circumstance. It is also important to recognize that decision-making is a skill that improves with practice. The more decisions you make, the more confidence you gain in your ability to navigate complexity and uncertainty. You will not always make the right choice, but with each decision you will gather more information, more experience, and more wisdom. This process of refining your decision-making ability is a fundamental part of building a resilient mindset. A strong mindset thrives on feedback. It learns from its mistakes and adjusts its approach. Finally, you must understand that in life there is no such thing as perfect timing. The perfect moment for a decision rarely presents itself. If you wait for certainty or for all the variables to align, you may find yourself waiting forever. The strongest mindset is one that understands that action is what creates momentum. You do not need perfect information to make a decision. You need a willingness to take the first step and adjust as you go. To build a strong mindset, commit to making decisions, even in the face of uncertainty. Recognize that fear and doubt are not signs of weakness, but signals that you are stretching your limits. Cultivate clarity in your goals and values so that you can make choices that align with your deeper purpose. Take responsibility for the decisions you make, knowing that you can always learn, adjust, and improve. The strength of your mindset is directly tied to your ability to make decisions and move forward, regardless of the challenges or setbacks you may encounter. When you develop this capacity, you will find yourself equipped to face whatever comes your way with confidence and resolve. In conclusion, building the strongest mindset is not an abstract concept or a distant ideal. It is a deliberate process of action, commitment, and growth. It starts with forcing yourself to confront challenges, to choose discipline over comfort, and to seek struggle as an opportunity for strength. It requires taking responsibility for your life, not as a burden, but as a means to create meaning and contribute to the world around you. It demands that you become a master of decision-making, that you face fear with courage, and that you embrace uncertainty with clarity. A powerful mindset is not a trait that some people are simply born with. It is forged through consistent effort, the willingness to endure discomfort, and the determination to stay on course despite setbacks. The key lies in understanding that you have the power to shape your reality. Your mindset is yours to cultivate, to sharpen, and to fortify. It doesn't happen overnight, but with every step you take toward discipline, responsibility, and purposeful action, you build a stronger, more resilient mind. As you continue this journey, remember that the challenges you face are not obstacles, but opportunities. The more you embrace this mindset, the more you will realize that true strength is not in avoiding difficulty, but in facing it head-on with clarity, conviction, and unwavering determination. Ultimately, the strongest mindset is one that never gives up, that constantly pushes forward, and that finds meaning even in the most difficult of circumstances. It is a mindset that does not wait for the world to change, but actively creates the life it desires. So, step forward, embrace the struggle, take responsibility, and make decisions with purpose. Your future self will thank you for it.